GWATA TV gives you a first look at North Central Washington's business news. You'll hear from our local business, tech, and education companies as Jenny discusses hot topics and current events with some of the best innovators and pioneers in North Central Washington.
Hello, North Central Washington. I'm Jenny Rojanasatian, your host for GWATA TV. On today's episode of GWATA TV, I'm going to interview the Business Development Director at Numerica Credit Union, where we'll talk a little bit about Numerica Credit Union's suite of services, why they are different from a traditional financial institution, as well as some advice for entrepreneurs in terms of succession planning, personal finances, and lending. Then at the end of our episode, we're going to talk a little bit about the Flywheel Investment Conference, which is an event happening this week in North Central Washington. The Flywheel Investment Conference is a full-day event that brings together influencers, entrepreneurs, investors, and community to develop resources for growing companies. It's a little bit on the other side of the banking spectrum in terms of angel investment, but it's a really fun event held at the Stanley Civic Center in downtown Wenatchee. So again, at the end of today's episode, I'll talk a little bit about what this event was last year and invite you to join us this Thursday, April 18th. Stay tuned. Hello, North Central Washington. Welcome back to GWATA TV. And I want to welcome our guest today, Jessica Clay from Numerica Credit Union. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
For coming back on air to share with our community. So let's start with a little introduction about you. So what is your role at Numerica Credit Union? And, what do you do in the community?
I am the Business Development Officer for Numerica Credit Union. And I really strongly love Numerica Credit Union because I believe in the same philosophy about giving back where we live, work, and play. And I volunteer a lot in the community. I'm on the board for the Humane Society. I'm the secretary on the board for SAGE, our Domestic Violence and Child Advocacy program here in Wenatchee. And I'm on the Children's Home Society board. I also do some volunteer work for Alethea. I'm involved with the Building North Central Washington group. I really like to give back and am thankful that I work for an employer who encourages that.
You are very busy serving on all those boards.
Yes.
And you're not alone because, I know that Amy Smith is on the GWATA board. I see Numerica at almost every nonprofit event. So it's clear that it's really rooted amongst your management and employees.
It is. Numerica is proud to give back $1 million last year is what they gave back in the communities where we have branches, which is the Tri-Cities, Wenatchee, Spokane, and North Idaho. 13,000 hours of volunteer work from our employees. Numerica is generous to give us a full day off to volunteer for any organization we personally choose to do so. And so it's ingrained in everything that Numerica believes in. And I think it's been good business sense because our membership has grown 54%. We've increased assets 70%. I think people want to work with an organization that they see giving back where we get to work and live.
And getting really hands-on, as you mentioned, because $1 million is a big deal.
Yes.
But so is 13,000 hours of hands-on working side by side with the community on these initiatives. So kudos to you guys on those big numbers
Thank you.
And giving back. And Numerica is a credit union.
We are.
So let's kind of lay the foundation of what's the difference between a credit union and a bank.
I feel that there's three really distinct things that differentiate us from a bank financial institution. A credit union is member owned. So we don't have stakeholders that are governing all the decisions. We have a board and it's a volunteer board, and actually Numerica Credit Union's board president is a Wenatchee resident. So we really strongly feel that once you join Numerica Credit Union, whether it's with your business accounts or your personal accounts, you are part of the ownership. Secondly is we're local. We always say we're Main Street, not Wall Street. There's not somebody on the East Coast that's going to decide whether you get approved for your loan. It's people right here in the community. They get to look at all the information and make the decision, and individually make the decision. There's not a cookie cutter, process. We try to, accommodate everyone. We want to help them.
And we were talking offline before this episode started about your role as this connector into the suite of services that Numerica has, because you have quite an expansive suite of services. So what are some of those things that people can get with Numerica Credit Union in terms of lending or personal finances?
Personally, we have business account, or we have checking accounts. We have a really fantastic bonus saver account, as well as some other options for saving your personal finances. We offer cash management. We have money market accounts. Really, to come in and talk to a financial service rep, we do all sorts of loans. Before I worked for Numerica, I didn't even know that they had a mortgage department where you could get a home loan. We do auto loans, we do home equity lines of credit. There's all sorts of options for you personally. Business-wise, we have so many options as well. We offer commercial real estate loans. We offer equipment and commercial vehicle loans, working capital lines of credit, inventory and receivable lines of credit. We have tons of merchant services to customize to an individual business, whether they're online or retail. We can help with all types of merchant services. We offer a Numerica Now product that is my baby. If somebody wants to use our Numerica Now product, they actually come and talk to me. And it is the ability to offer loans to your customers. So let's say you have a vinyl fencing business, okay, and it's $15,000 or more to put in a vinyl fencing, $15,000 to $25,000. A lot of people don't have that. They need a loan. This way, you as the business owner can directly offer loans through Numerica Credit Union to your customers. The money goes to the business right away, and then they pay the loans to us. But it's just a great service for individual businesses to be able to offer to their clientele.
That's the first time I've heard of the program. That's really innovative.
Yeah.
And you're absolutely right, especially when you think about things like in construction.
Yes.
These are big ticket items that are residents may not always have access to. So I love how you're supporting not only kind of the consumer, but the business.
Right.
And keeping the business within Wenatchee or
Yes.
Tri-Cities or wherever else your branches
Yes.
are. That's really neat. Well, we're going to talk a little bit about advice for entrepreneurs and small business and some of those resources that you started to outlay. But first, we need to head to a commercial break. So stay tuned. We'll be back with Jessica Clay in just a minute. Welcome back to GWATA TV. If you are just joining us, I've been talking with Jessica Clay from Numerica Credit Union. We just covered a little bit about the background of Numerica and the suite of services they offer. And now we're going to get into advice for supporting your business. And finances, it's not everyone's favorite topic, right? It's something that we sometimes put off or avoid because it makes people a little uncomfortable or, it's stressful. It's stressful. Yeah. It can be a pain point. But let's talk about why keeping your business and personal finances separate is so important. What is kind of your advice around keeping them separate and how to approach it?
I think it's really important for someone that's an entrepreneur thinking about starting their own business to really keep them separate, because it's about protection. You want to protect your personal assets separately from your business assets. And, I think that you got to monitor it. You got to evaluate, protect your credit standing. And if you start mixing, you run into the risk of hurting your own personal credit score. If the business is just getting started, that's a rough time. And, I think that it's just really important to keep them separate.
Yeah. And as you mentioned on the credit score, as a business owner, a financial institution or credit union is really evaluating the finances of the individual at the start, right? There's no business history.
Yes, if you're a sole proprietor, yes, that's going to be based off of, your own personal standing. So you want to make sure that you have kept your credit very nicely intact.
In order to empower you to
Yes.
get the business loan or the lines of credit that you need in order to move forward. And what are some of the ways that Numerica helps give that advice to entrepreneurs? You know, when they come into your branch and they're talking about starting a business.
We really tell entrepreneurs to set up automatic payments. That way you know it's coming out on the 5th of the month, the 15th. You can budget, which is so important. Everything, whether it's personal or business, needs to start with a budget. And we have guidelines. If you need extra help, there's a whole section on numericacu.com about budgeting and getting set up with a program. We have options that we suggest for online. Maybe download the Mint app. You need a budget, or Quicken. You need to check your credit report, whether it's personal or for business. Check the credit report annually at annualcreditreport.com. It's free to do it once a year. And it's so important because I personally have had things show up that were a college roommate's auto loan from, years ago. We won't talk about how long ago. But, it's really important to make sure that everything is accurate on your credit report and that your score is accurate.
I'm just thinking about the billboards I've seen in town around budgeting and finances, and I think I've never seen a financial institution really talk as much as Numerica does about advice and what the consumer should be looking at. You see a lot about rates or lending opportunities, but that's really unique, your investment and personal finances and seeing people be successful.
I really feel like Numerica doesn't just, do the talk. We walk the walk as well. They are so big on education, financial education, whether it's budgeting, loans. They really want to give as much information to the consumer so that they're prepared and that they're successful. We don't want someone to, get a loan and not be successful and making those monthly payments. We want to do everything we can to help people know and be prepared.
And does that kind of go into this member mentality of Numerica's owned by members, right?
Yes.
So if your members aren't successful, then the whole institution isn't there. So it's that reinvestment back in the people that support, the bank as well. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
But it's hard when you're going out. I've been in this position, going out for money, and you're trying to build a business. So let's talk about, things to consider as a business owner as far as setting it up. One of those things was about paying yourself. So when you start a new business, how do you pay yourself? How do you look at the finances? So what is some of your advice around that?
Our business service department really emphasizes not reinvesting all your earnings right back into your startup business. They recommend that you save 10 to 20% of your gross income for long-term goals and to be prepared for rough patches. And unfortunately, when you're first starting out a business, there's going to be rough patches. There always is. I've never had anyone say, I never had a rough patch. Unfortunately, that's part of life. Economy changes things. There's just different aspects for each individual business. So the more you can be prepared with that savings, the better off you're going to be.
And I know that there's some recommendations around saving in advance before, you head into an entrepreneurship route. And we were talking offline about as much as you can be prepared, it's also a new era where not everyone has large savings accounts. So that's really where your loan services come into play, right?
Absolutely.
If you don't have the savings, but you want to start that journey.
Yes.
Okay.
One of the biggest things I can recommend is if you're an entrepreneur watching this, go into our Wenatchee or East Wenatchee branch and talk to someone from our financial service reps or business services. If it's over $50,000, Jesse Mendoza is your guy to come and see.
Okay. Yeah. And speaking of your branch locations, you're building a new branch location.
We are. We're so excited. We're hoping to be in there by the very end of 2019. Okay. We have a branch going in down on Wenatchee Avenue.
And this is, your previous branch has been over by the clinic.
Yes, we're on Emerson right now. It's a side street between Safeway and Fifth.
So in the meantime, still come to Emerson.
Yes.
But a much larger branch is coming down on Wenatchee Avenue.
It's going to be very exciting. We'll have a grand opening and a lot of fun. Big party.
That'll be really cool. So now let's skip forward. Say you're an entrepreneur, you've got your finances down, your business is growing, but at some point you're going to leave that business. And at some point you're either going to sell or pass it down or dissolve. So what are Numerica's recommendations around succession planning?
I think it's essential for managing personal wealth and ensuring the well-being of your family too. Or, you know, a poor succession plan can lead to tax burdens for surviving family members or the people who might purchase your business after.
Yeah. So pairing with a business advisor.
Work closely with a trusted advisor, understand the tax laws, that's a big one, and build a good relationship with your financial institution.
All right, so that way you can have a transition out once you've built that successful company.
Yes, absolutely.
Perfect. Well, this has been so helpful today, Jessica. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Anything else to add about Numerica and how to find you guys?
If somebody's looking for details about the difference between a credit union and a bank, we have 7 facts at numericacu.com.
Okay.
And I encourage people just to come in, make an appointment with anyone at our branch, Wenatchee, East Wenatchee on Grant Road, and come and have a visit. You know, it's nothing set in stone. They love to just meet with you and help you as much as they possibly can.
That's right. Or come to a GWATA event, because the
Yes.
Numerica team is usually at a GWATA event as well. Well, thank you so much for having me or coming on air today with us. We really appreciate your time. And when we come back, we'll wrap up today's episode. It was great having Jessica Clay on air to share a little bit about Numerica's suite of services. And like she said, if you've not visited them before, I highly encourage you to check out their 2 locations in the Wenatchee Valley. Now, as promised, we're going to end today's segment by switching gears and talking about the Flywheel Investment Conference. This event is happening this week in North Central Washington on Thursday, April 18th. Now, the Flywheel Investment Conference is a full-day event. It starts at 9 a.m. and ends at 8 p.m. with a premier after-party at the BPOE Ballroom. And at the Flywheel Investment Conference, if you're an attendee, you can expect a really dynamic day of learning and making connections. To set the framework for you, I'm going to give you an overview of this year's agenda, and then we'll watch a quick recap video from North 40 Productions that gives you an inside peek at what 2018 looked like. So to start the day at the Flywheel Conference, we're going to be doing a panel titled Should I Raise Capital? And this panel is really geared to explain the difference in angel investing versus traditional lending, non-traditional lending, or raising all the way up through a venture capital round. And I think this pairs really nicely with the conversation we just had with Jessica, because when you're raising money for your business, there's many different avenues to go down and no one right path. So if you're an entrepreneur and you're building a company where you think there might be an exit or a sell at some point, maybe angel investing is something for you to look at. And you'll hear on this morning panel advice from a couple people in the field. Then we transition into a panel from the perspective of the angel investors, where a panel of investors will share why they choose to invest their money in early stage companies and what motivates them, what's been exciting to be a part of it, and what are some of the successes they've seen as a result of writing those checks. Moving on through the day, we have a keynote lunch where we'll hear from Will Cardigram, our 2018 Flywheel winner, and he'll talk about his company and the success he's had since he won the $100,000 again in 2018. And then, of course, the premier part of the day is watching the 6 new companies, our 2019 finalists, compete for the opportunity to win $100,000. And if you haven't heard anything about Flywheel, I encourage you to come out for the company competition. It is like our own version of Shark Tank. These companies are going to share about their product, their go-to-market strategy, and then local investors are going to grill them about their plans for the future. We've also mixed in a few keynotes during the company competition, so it's broken up with a lot of fun entertainment. And then, of course, as I alluded to earlier, it ends with a big end of the night celebration at the ballroom. So to give you some context of what the day looks like, let's enjoy this video recap from North 40 Productions of the 2018 conference. I hope that video by North 40 Productions gave you an inside look into the Flywheel Investment Conference. And you can expect a lot of fun and excitement this week at the 2019 Flywheel Investment Conference. Again, that is Thursday, April 18th at the Stanley Civic Center. You'll have an opportunity at the conference to hear from our 2018 winner, Will Clausen of Cartogram. He's going to talk about the success his company has had since participating last year, as well as the B2B connections that are driving support into our community. Now, there's 3 types of tickets that you can purchase to Flywheel. I highly recommend the All Access Pass so that you can tap into all of the events from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. But if you can't make it all day, don't worry. We also have a ticket available for the company competition, which features the keynotes, as well as the evening after party. So check out all of the resources we've talked about today on air. I highly encourage you to visit Numerica Credit Union, check out the GWATA website, and of course, go to flywheelconference.com to check out the agenda and purchase your tickets for this week. I hope you enjoyed this episode of GWATA TV. We'll see you next week.
Since 1999, GWATA has served as North Central Washington's Tech Alliance. As a 501c3, our mission is to bring people and technology resources together to create a thriving community. Through our work, we aim to inspire, engage, and connect.